Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a whole new deck that I've come across recently, and as you can tell from the title, Dragon Mages or Performslayers. So, as you can see, the deck is Pendulum based, and what's really cool about this Pendulum deck, besides being rank 4 spam type thing, is that it searches with almost any card in the deck. It has the Luster Pendulum, the Drago Slayer, Perform Pal, Skullcrabat Joker, Damage Juggler, Pendulum Wizard, Gigabite, Higurumi, Higurumi, we'll go with that. I guess Foolish Burial is deck thinning, so that's good enough. And 3 Wavering Eyes. We also have in the extra deck Magister Paladin, the Rising Drago Slayer, which during the end phase you get to add a Pendulum card to your hand. If I'm reading that right. During your end phase, yep. And you also have King of the Feral Imps, that's to search out either Gigabite or Part Naga. Now, the reason I'm showing you the deck list first for once is because you're probably looking at this and thinking, why are you playing Performa Pals? And I want to show you the replays after showing you the deck list to show you that it's actually very good with the Perform Pals. So we're gonna go ahead and get to that then. Alright, here we go. So we're gonna set our scales, and now what we did first here is using Drago Slayer's effect to destroy the pendulum in our other zone. That activates Higurumi's effect, and the monster effect states that if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you specify summon a Perform Mage from your hand or deck. Now it doesn't specify it as being a monster, it just says if this card, so if it's in your pendulum zone, gets destroyed, you still get to activate it. And that is one of the main reasons this deck is pretty great. Alright, so we're going to continue on. We're going to set both our back row, go into Feral Imps, add Part Naga, set our Pendulum Zone, and put those 2 out, do Damage Mage, and then we're just going to go into the Infinity Engine. Now what I like to do when I use Infinity is I only negate when it's something that's going to threaten my field. So pretty much anything else, unless it's like late game and that's the only thing that they have. But early game, if it doesn't threaten me, I'm not going to really bother with it. So we're going to do Wavering Eyes, we're going to get our search. We're going to set 2 more Pendulum Zones. And now a pretty interesting combo with this is the Drago Slayers, the Synchro Effect Monster, and XZ. They all work together in like a pretty cool way. So say you have a Drago Slayer, another level 4 Pendulum. First you can fusion into, or not fusion, wow. First you can synchro into what you need, and then you can use his effect, get out another one of Luster Pendulum, and with that you can then just overlay into Magister and then detach a material off Magister for another Drago Slayer out of your extra deck. And if can we summon more of one? Yeah, you can summon more than one per turn. So then if you already have like another Pendulum monster in there, you can go for another one of him. So with this deck is pretty much, if you summon a big monster, that big monster lets you get more big monsters, which I find really interesting with the deck. Right, so something else I really like about the deck, with its whole rank 4th spam type thing, is it can set pretty interesting combos. For instance, you can, I'm going to show you one right here that can set up a lot of heavy damage right off from the start of the game. And there's a bunch of pendulums already. And with this whole combo, is you power up him, Dark Rebellion XD Dragon, who gains the attack of half of its target, and that monster loses half its attack. And then using Trapeze Magician, it gets to attack twice. So that can be heavy damage, and a lot of the time it can pretty much put your opponent in a spot where one more hit will definitely end it. And also, you don't take any damage from effects if damage is less than Trapeze Magician's attack. So putting Trick Clown on the field doesn't really change much for you. Right, so that's pretty much game there. I'm going to show you guys the deck list again and go over it, so I can go into better detail about it now. Alright, so to start it off, we're going to talk about Part Naga. And this card's actually a alright Perform Pal. I don't think there's many that are great. So what this one is you're pretty much always going to put in your Pendulum Zone, of course. And it's plus 300 attack for one targeted monster for each Perform Pal card you have. And that can actually change the game for you, which is pretty good. Luster Pendulum Dragoslayer is our star of the deck. It can destroy Harigumi, and then Harigumi can special summon something else. I usually go for Damage Juggler, so then once that's gone, we can just search out either another Harigumi, or we can get Conductor and just set up our Pendulum Zones. Silver Claw, that's another card that pretty much goes in the Pendulum Zone for most cases. Skullcrabat is the card you're mostly going to normal summon. The Pendulum effect isn't that good, so you can actually... Well, it doesn't have Pendulum effect. It doesn't have an effect when it special summons, what I mean to say. And pretty much the only use for it is when you normal summon it. Putting it in your Pendulum Zone isn't that great because the deck isn't like Perform Pal, Magician type stuff. It's kind of all over. 2 Denko Sekka because we're only playing one trap card. And I guess you can keep the spells in your hand if you want. Doesn't really change much, it's up to you. 2 Trick Clown because Trick Clown. Triple Damage Juggler because we have all these Perform Mages in here. Perform Pal Pendulum Wizard. Now this is an interesting card. If you put it in your Pendulum Zone and you Pendulum Summon Perform Pal to your field, all your Perform Pals gain 1000 attack until the end phase. So that's a pretty good effect. That puts monsters up into pretty high attacks. And then there's also the monster effect is what we mostly want to go for. Now when this card is special summoned, you target up to 2 cards you control and destroy them. And then you add more pals with different names to your hand, equal to whatever you destroyed. Now what you can do here is destroy Dragoslayer and Higurumi. Say they're both in your Pendulum Zones, or say Higurumi's on the field and Dragoslayer's in your Pendulum Zone. Soon you can be able to Pendulum Summon since they both have scale 5. So anyway, and then you search out, say, Silver Claw and Part Naga, or another Pendulum Wizard and Silver Claw, whatever you want. And then with that, you can say your Pendulum scales and re-Pendulum Summon the 2 cards that you destroyed. And keep in mind, Higurumi special summons another Perform Mage from your deck. Now we have Gigobite, who special summons itself. Well, you can special summon it if you have a spellcaster, and if it's destroyed, you can special summon a monster with 1500 attack and 200 defense from your deck, which is Nari Fire. Then we have Perform Mage Hat Tricker, which is special summon. You get to special summon it if there are 2 or more monsters on the field. And then all damage you take from effects is pretty much reduced to 0, and you put a Perform Mage counter on this card. and you're not going to use that effect too often. I think I've only done that once or twice. Higurumi is the second star of the deck. I've talked about this with multiple cards already. You're almost never going to use the pendulum effect, but it's the monster effect that's amazing. Mirror Conductor, you don't really talk about that much. It's a good card and all. Both effects I really like about it, but it doesn't compare at all to Higurumi. Higurumi is just great. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, because Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Foolish Burial to dump that. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, and 3 Wavering Eye. You can pretty much destroy stuff in your pendulum zone, search out more pendulums cards, then set your pendulum zones again, special summon again, well, special summon, and Soul Warning. So in our extra deck we have Star Eater. Now you might have been looking at this at first and thinking, why is this here? It doesn't make any sense, something like that. Now, if you look at the deck, everything except Part Naga and Snow Ogre are level 4. So say you put on 2 level 4s and Ghost Ogre. There you go. Star Eater right there. 2 Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Drago Slayer. And this card has been good since it came out. What it does is you can target 1 pendulum monster on the field and 1 card in the pendulum zone and destroy it. Or 1 monster and destroy it. And if you do, you shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. Now here's the catch. It doesn't specify where on the field this pendulum monster comes from. So say it's your opponent's Q-Port Scout, for instance. Destroy it, and then shuffle their monolith back into the deck. Just an example, but you get the really cool thing about it, and you also can summon a Drago Slayer from your deck in defense position, which is Lesser Pendulum, the Drago Slayer. Now, let's see, Infinity for obvious reasons, S39 to get over opponent's infinities, Trapeze Magician for more obvious reasons. Here's another card I wanted to talk about is the Rising Drago Slayer. It sets up your combos really nicely. So say you put down him, then what you can do is special summon another Drago Slayer, overlay with something else, for instance, and then make this, the Rising Drago Slayer, activate his effect when he summons, so you get your free search in your end phase, and then you detach, and you get another Drago Slayer out of your extra deck. Excision Knight, the rest is all just generic stuff. Feral Imps get those stuff. So that's pretty much the whole deck. It's really cool, I like it. It's player-made deck, obviously. It's like a hybrid type of thing. Another thing you can do is switch both Denkos out for Thousand Blades, I guess. It's all up to you. There's a lot of... This deck has a lot of like creativity to it. You can make changes to it and it'll still be pretty good. But this is so far the most consistent build that I found. It's pretty cool. I like it. So you guys can give it a try. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to my page. Check out my videos, all that cool stuff that I mentioned. Here we go. So until next time, guys.